Hey everybody, and welcome back to the next part in my dialing in series for our Line 6 Helix. I am going to finally get around to doing probably one of the most requested tones I've had. I just had it kind of jog my memory. I had somebody request it again last week. I've been meaning to get around to this, and that's David Gilmour's really cool, incredible tone on his solos on Comfortably Numb from the Wall album. What an iconic tone, and this is probably going to be super controversial because it seems like whenever I do these kind of really iconic tones, a million people come out of the woodwork and tell me why the things I chose were wrong and how it doesn't sound right and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so the standard disclaimer, I'm not stating I copied his tone. This is just something to get you close. I did do a performance video with it of the Comfortably Numb first and second solos, which I hope YouTube allows to stay up there. I have heard that that's one of the ones they kind of pull down sometimes, so keep your fingers crossed. If it's not there when you go look at it, they might have pulled it down, but I have it uploaded already and it seems to be staying. So we'll see about that. So anyways, it sounded pretty cool in the mix. I just found a good backing track off YouTube. The keyboards are mixed a little loud in the back track. Couldn't really do much about it, but I tried to get a nice balance on it. But it worked really nice. I was pretty happy with the final outcome of it. So that's kind of cool. Go take a listen to that and you can hear this tone in the mix, okay? I chose my Progression Plus, Golding Progression Plus with a mini humbucker in the bridge, which a lot of folks might say probably might not be the best choice, but Gilmour, I believe, was using a fairly high output single coil, and I find that this is a fairly low output bridge mini humbucker, so it actually worked quite nicely. But again, ear pickups that you use in your guitar, you might have to make some tweaks to this so it suits your ideals and your monitoring system and everything else, like I always say. So let's go over to HX Edit, take a look at what we have, and see what we come up with. So, you know, a lot of people, when doing a Gilmour tone, will slap a compressor in the front, and I thought about it, and I even gave it a try, and I found in the end I didn't need it since I have my LA Studio comp at the end. It seemed to work really nicely. So I just went with my normal settings, peak reduction 5.5, gain at 5, kept that at what I normally do. EQ, I didn't really touch it. I just went low cut at 100 hertz, high cut at 12 kilohertz like I normally do. Verb, I went with a Hall verb with a decay of 5.2, pre-delay of 20 milliseconds, and a mix of 28%. It's a little bit of a bigger verb, just because it has that nice atmospheric quality to the sound, right? The delay, I went with the duck delay, which from what I understand in my very quick research, I did this tone extremely quick this morning. Time was a bit of an essence, so I threw this together in about 10 minutes. So I hope it's good. I was enjoying it. But I heard that Gilmour had used a TC Electronics 2290. Again, I don't know if it wasn't there, so I can't really tell you, but this is the model of that. So I have the notes, the tempo set at 65 and the notes sync at 8th notes, since that's such a slow tempo, right? Feedback of 30%. I didn't touch the lower high cut. I left that where it was. Mix at 40%, kind of high, but it sits nice in the mix with this. I used a bit of the ducking feature, threshold set at 40%, ducking at 15%, attack and release 10 milliseconds, 130 milliseconds for the release. So yeah, that I just played around with that till I had something that sounded nice. I hate when the ducking kind of scoops back in too noticeably, but in the mix it was working really well. One thing I did is I added a vibe rotary in here, set to the speed on slow speed at 3.3, fast speed at 4.8, ramp time medium, mix at 20%, okay? And actually I did two snapshots, first solo and second solo. The only difference is on the second solo, it jumps up to 30% to give a little bit more modulation sound to it. And the other one is on the distortion effect, which we'll get to in a second. The reason I did that is in my research, you could kind of hear there was a little something going on in this tone. In my research, apparently, along with the WhoWatt amp he used, which is what I used for my model, the WhoWatt 100, he also used a Yamaha rotary speaker, bypassing the amp, hitting it with a Fender Blackface. Again, I'm not really, I'm not claiming to know this. It's just things I've read really quick. But I thought maybe I'll try to throw a little bit of that vibe rotary in there. And it seemed to give a nice effect, and it sat really nice in the mix. So I left that. So that's on both snapshots, okay? Amp-wise, I went with the WhoWatt 100 and its standard cabinet, the 412 WhoWatt 100. The 160 ribbon mic pulled back 6 inches on that. And the amp settings were drive on 10, bass on 5.5, mid on 4.9, treble on 8.9, presence on 8.4, master all the way up to 10 as well. And I threw in the triangle fuzz because, from what I understand, Gilmour used the Big Muff, Electro-Mark's Big Muff on it. So It sounded really nice, worked really well. So sustain was set to 9, and like I said on the second solo, I jacked that right up to 10, okay? Tone was at 4, okay? So here's what the sound is for the first solo, right? Okay, something along those lines. So it was working quite nicely. It sounds like a lot of reverb and delay. But in the mix, it's working really nicely. Now, if we take the modulation off the vibe rotary, this is what it sounded like. With it on. So there's not a ton of it there. It just gave it that color that we wanted to kind of get closer to what Gilmour had going on. In the second solo, like I said, I bumped the modulation up on that, the mix up on the vibe rotary, and a little bit more boost on the drive from the triangle fuzz. Now the secret to a lot of this is picking fairly hard on some of these notes. You know? It helps to get a little bit more of that Gilmour-esque sound to it. So, what do you guys think? I hope you enjoyed that. That tone will be up on custom tone by the time this video posts, and I hope you guys download and enjoy it. Like I said, you may have to tweak some things. Maybe you'll have to bring the gain down for your pickups if they're higher output. Or, you know, find another way to boost the gain a little more if you need a little more gain. Although I would probably not go too much more gain than that. You might want to play with the delay or even a little bit more modulation effect or less, depending on what your ideals are in your monitoring system. So, but anyways, I hope that gets you close and gets you started to the point where you can get something that will work if you are doing a cover of this tune or you play with it live. So I hope it helps out and hope you guys enjoy it. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Please like the video, share it if you don't mind. And make sure you go check out the performance video too, just so you can, if it's still up, so you can hear what's going on with that and sort of hear how this sounds in the mix. Because again, I didn't do any post-processing on this tone after the fact once it's put in the mix, okay? You're hearing it as it's coming out of the Helix, all right? Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be back soon with some more content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ciao for now, and we'll talk soon.